Welcome back, guys, to another Babbling beer review on a Friday evening. Hope you had a good week. Nice one from Leather Britches Brewery today on hand pull. As I did say in the previous video, I'll be looking at doing this shortly, and today's a day for it. So I've managed to get hold of Spiced Berry Mild from Leather Britches Brewery. There you go. A nice 4.2%. A winter warming beer with fruits of the forest and cinnamon. So it's thanks to Slurpy Dave. I mean, if you check out his channel on here, he does some beer reviews and has a walk around the place. He did say about trying a mild, you know, recommend I try, you know, some golden mild and hand pull. So I've had a few beers through Leather Britches Brewery over the years, and they're good beers again, from Ashby Della's Juice Way. So yeah, I thought I'd have a look around. There are miles down here in Cornwall. It's just getting these breweries really that will do them in a poly pin, or you know, so I can put them on the hand pull. And they obviously put them in bottles and things like that, but or if you want to buy a massive you know, Dragon Babbling beer reviews, gallons full of it, you know, the big beer barrels. But I don't want to drink that much myself, to be honest. So a nice little poly pin bag of 18 pints is, you know, is what is ideal really. The thing is, Leather Britches do 5 pint bags, a 3 litre bag. I've got one actually for the next beer, which is pumpkin. So Leather Britches Brewery at the minute, but until the end of October, I don't know what the exact date is, but they're giving 10% off. So if you go onto their website, leatherbritches.co.uk, and have a look at their beers, and when you purchase and check out, you can put save 10 in. It'll ask if you've got a coupon. Type in there save 10 in capitals, and it'll take off 10%, which all helps, doesn't it? So ideal. I mean, I ordered this one and the pumpkin, and it cost me £53 and something odd pound. I can't remember the odd pence was, but that's for 18 pints of leather of this Spiced Berry Mild and 5 pints of the 3 litre bag of pumpkin ale. So it's not bad, and that's delivered again DHL down to me. I think the postage is something like £5.99 on that, but by the time you put the 10% in, so you get that back off anyway. So would have been about 41 quid, I suppose. But I've ordered the pump clip as well, which is 150. And I will say, Leather Britches, if anyone out there, thank you. I did moan of a bit of a pop about it before. Leather Britches, you can buy the pump clip. They do normally tell you on their website that they don't include the clip part. So they'll supply the badge, the disc part. They don't normally supply this. They used to, as I said in the previous video, you know, I've heard about it before, they did used to give the whole thing, but I think because the bags swell when they travel, they've probably had a few accidents here and there, and you know, that's quite sharp on the edges, so I can imagine it'll soon pop a bag. So I can understand why they don't do it. They will supply it, as I said before as well, but you have to ask, request it, because obviously if the badge turns up and you've got no clip, you can't put it on your hand pull. So definitely worth, yeah, just to mention that. I don't know if it's, you know, if they see one of my videos and I had a little dig about that I didn't get the clip. I don't know, I wouldn't have thought so. Probably just, you know, thrown it in. So they do provide the clips, but you have got to ask for them nowadays, whereas they just used to throw it in. But as I say, this one that I got here, they threw it in, so can't grumble. So yeah, anyway, I'll get this poured out. I'll take a seat, and then we can have a little look and see what it's about. Spiced Berry Mild from Leather Britches Brewery, a winter warming beer with fruits of the forest and cinnamon. So let's get that poured out. I've had this sitting for since yesterday, so hopefully once it settles out it should be okay. So we'll see. There you go, sir. I'll talk that for you in a minute if needs be. So guys, welcome back. I've got my seat, so there we go, all poured out. Nice red ruby sort of colour, isn't it? Dark, nice dark, I say ruby red, almost like walnut, isn't it? Oh, not walnut, Babbling beer is mahogany, get it rightly. Very nice in colour, nice sort of red dark coloured beer with a nice white head on it. Leather Britches Brewery, Spice Berry Mould. Leather Britches, as I said a minute ago, I've used them quite a lot. Well, I did look on there for a review myself for this one, and there wasn't one on here, so I do put this one up really. It's got a good rating, this beer, for the reviews that are actually on their website. As I say, I've had a few of their beers now, and they've all been good. I've enjoyed them, so worth checking out. Leather Britches story. Leather Bridge takes its name from an old tradition long before the days of scientific analysis and the invention of the sacrometer. Ale conners who collected taxes for the crown needed to check the strength of the beers brewed. They would pour some of the beer onto a barrel top, sit on it for a while, and depending on how sticky they felt it to be when they stood up, they were able to assess its alcoholic strength and impose the appropriate duty. Worsted, cord and even moleskin trousers failed to withstand the onerous duty. Onerous even, Babbling beer reviews. Thus leather breeches were worn by all the ale conners, and they became the mark of their profession. I always thought it was something to do with like it's completely different to that, leather breeches, isn't it? It's not a fruit but a plant based sort of thing. So there you go. So that's how they come up with their name for leather breeches. Sounds quite, doesn't it? You think of the Blue Oyster Club. Their values: these premium quality beers are brewed using traditional brewing methods, using only the finest ingredients. I think they were started. They were started by I can't remember his name now. I think there's history. Babbling beer reviews, gone quiet. It was bought out by a member of their family. I think the brother took it over, from what I was reading about it. I mean, there is obviously history on there of where they started and how they got to, you know, what they. I mean, doesn't go into it on there. Our story, our beer. So, you know, definitely worth a look. They're good beers. So I won't bore you with the history too much, but yeah, it was founded by, I can't remember the name of the guy now. Let's have a quick butchers around, see if I can get the information. Hold on a minute, bore you a bit more. Right, I found it. So Leather Britches Brewers, founded in 1993. The idea of Bill Allingham, the youngest son of the family, and Edward Allingham, Bill's older brother, has since taken over the brewery and runs it as sole proprietor. So yeah, obviously it's started, you know, and it's been kept within a family. So again, another family brewery. And as we said, with all these big Marstons and all that, the companies that are buying up the little ones like Witchwood, it's nice that these companies are still around. So definitely check out their beers. Leather Britches Brewery, as I say, it's been going for obviously since 1993. They do some good beers, and they've got a mad brewer range. And I'm not sure if this one is in bottles, but most of their beers, you can get them in the 5 litre kegs. You know, the little pins that they send out, you can get them in them. You can get polypin bags, a 3 litre, a 10 litre, and then obviously the big one. So, you know, there's plenty of choices, and I say most of it you can buy in 20 litre. That's what I'm thinking. Babbling beer reviews. I'm getting myself all in a tizzy. 20 litre bag in the box as well. So, and most of them you can buy in bottles. So definitely worth doing. I said earlier on about the price of the beer, when I said about 41, not to confuse people, If I'd have bought just the 18 pints on its own, it'd have been about £41 delivered down to me with a save 10 coupon code put in. But as I say, I bought a 3 litre bag of pumpkin as well for Halloween to do a little review on. So that's what it was, £53 and so many pennies. But as I say, you can get the beers in bottles, pins, or little cans, and the polymer bags. So definitely check them out. They do other stuff. They have guest hours, and you can join a beer club on their site as well, where you get sort of first dibs on beers. They have guest beers coming from different breweries and things like that on there, and you can get some savings, and you can save money every week on delivery. You can book up a weekly delivery of your favourite beer, so you can have it delivered weekly or fortnightly. And so I'll just buy them as and when. And I try and look out for the code because it makes a bit different on coupons they give out. So definitely worth a look. This one here, as I say, I've not had before. I've had their Christmas Bad Santa. That's a very dark ale, and I've said it's not really a session beer, but it is once you've had a few. You know, on a Christmas you don't seem to. First one is a bit, you know, very Christmassy, for Christmas in a glass, all them Christmas sort of spices and flavours. But after you've had a couple of pints, yeah, it does start to flow down very easy. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a session beer, but I bought 18 pints and I did get through it. So, so what does it say about this one? So, Spiceberry Mild. Spiceberry Mild is a smooth-bodied mild with subtle hints of fruits of the forest, with backing notes of cinnamon. A very well-rounded winter warmer. And the reason I sort of did this one is, one, I wanted to do a mild, and two, that, you know, we're moving into these sort of darker, colder months. So I thought it'd be a nice sort of one to start off the winter period with, really. Spiceberry, you know, a bit of cinnamon. Obviously a standard mild would have been good, but as I say, it's dark, but it's a clear beer, and you can't see on there, very clear. I say very clear, it's very dense actually, but there's no bits you can see. It's clear in its appearance, should we say. Nice white head on it, as I say, and a nice, very fruity, sweet smell on this one. You can smell it. It's lots of different flavours of fruit in there going on. Right, mixture of fruits, I'd imagine. Let's get it down her neck. Very smooth, as it says. The first thing I get is lots of sweetness and fruitiness from it. No sort of, like, not when you drink a citrusy beer, you know, you don't get that. There's none of that sort of sharpness. It's just a nice sort of lots of subtle flavours going on in your mouth at once. Nice and smooth, but as I say, more on the fruity side. Can't taste the cinnamon so much in it. Yeah, there's a bit on the back, in the back note there. But generally, actually, it's yeah, it's a very sort of smooth, fruity. If you like your fruity flavoured beer, you'll like that one. I mean, that's a nice sort of wintry beer. Taste of berries and, you know, sort of raspberry flavour in there. I say raspberry, you know, black currants and all them sort of fruits. You know, it's got that. I mean, it even shows on the pump actually, strawberries, raspberries, blackberry. So a good mixture of fruit in there. No hoppy notes, obviously. Being a mild, it's yeah, it's not all singing, all dancing, if you know what I mean. It's a nice sort of all-rounded winter pint. You know, you know, with the fire on in the background. You guys probably can't see the fire down there from the camera there, but the fire sort of simmering away there, and the you know, the dark nights, the nice dark beer. Cheers! It's nice. I wouldn't say it's a session beer. mainly because that sort of fruitiness gets in the way. I mean, the badge actually does sort of, you know, when I look at that, it does make you think like frost on the trees and, you know, that warming in the background. You see all the fruits on there, your raspberries and what's that, blueberries I think on there, and excuse me, a bit of strawberry with, as I say, fruits of the forest. Not like a gatto in a glass, but all them flavours, you know. It's got that nice sort of real sort of plum looking, I mean, it looks in the light there, but when you turn it to, you know, that nice dark, I suppose there is a bit of a, yeah, plum. It's got a good mixture of flavour, and there a little bit of spice, just a little bit of spice that cuts through it all. It's a nice winter warming pint, you know, a couple of them of an evening. As I say, it probably gets sickly, I think. It could get a bit sickly if you drunk too many of them. Whether after you've had a few, you know, you sort of, you know, you would just get on with it like I did with the Christmas one. It does taste a bit like Bad Santa, actually. It reminds me think of Bad Santa that they do at Christmas time. Probably not as much, there's more cinnamon sort of flavour in that. But that is a good, it's a good old pint, that is, it's nice. Mouthfeel, it's sort of nice, full flavoured, full bodied beer. Doesn't leave any sort of real aftertaste. And yeah, just a nice winter warming pint, as I say. I think, as I say, you know, you could start your evening, probably you have one of them, or you have a couple of them, or even at the end of the evening, if you had a few pints and you just want something to finish on, that'd be quite nice. Just sort of sit and have, you know, a slow pint of that. As I say, these beers normally, when I've had a few of them, they start chugging them back. So Spiceberry Mould, yeah, well worth checking out. Leather British Brewery. Let's have a quick look at. I was looking at obviously with moulds, because moulds, I think of, you know, my dad's dad, my granddad, and maybe his dad before him, drinking mould. And actually, there is quite a bit of history on mould, you know, and how it's sort of changed, you know, over from when it started out years ago. I mean, if you look at that, mild ale, I mean, it's a perfect picture. I mean, matches on there, lovely on Google. Mild ale is a type of ale. Modern milds are mostly dark coloured, with an alcohol volume ABV of 3% to 3.6. Well, this is a 4.2, so it's a nice, I suppose the fruit sort of and the sugary side of it ramps up. There is a sweetness that runs through this as well, with all them fruits and that. But it's all balanced. As I say, you probably wouldn't want a lot of it because it might be a bit sickly. I mean, I don't know. It's not a flat mould. It's definitely got, as I say, a bit of a body to it because of all the fruits in there. But yeah, mild ale, I suppose it's had a bit of a, not a resurgence, but I suppose some of these microbreweries are now bringing it back. Modern milds are mostly dark coloured, with an alcohol by, as I said, 3.6. Although they're lighter hued as well as stronger milds, reaching 6% ABV. I say this is a 4.2. Mild originated in Britain in the 17th century early, originally meant a young ale, as opposed to stale or aged old ale. Mild experienced a sharp decline in popularity in the 60s. So, as I say, when I think of my granddad and his dad, mild of the day, you know, you can imagine they all drinking mild, couldn't you, back in them days, the old boys, or your Guinnesses and things like that, your Mackesons. Yeah, and it was in danger of completely disappearing. But the increase in microbreweries has led to a modest renaissance and an increased number of milds, sometimes labelled dark, being brewed. The campaign for real ale has designated May as mild month. So the month of May is mild month, so that's a good month to get some milds and try them. In the United States, a group of beer bloggers organised the first American mild month for May 2015 with 45 participating breweries across the country in America. So, you know, mild was originally used to designate any beer which was young, fresh or unaged and did not refer to a specific style of beer. Thus there was mild ale, but also mild porter and even mild bitter beer. These young beers were often blended with aged stale beer to improve their flavour, and as the 19th century progressed, public taste moved away from the aged tastes. So that old sort of musky, we call it, beer, you know, moved away, and young beer, mostly in the form of mild ale or light bitter, began to dominate the market. So we get our ales of today, don't we? Our hoppy ales. In the 19th century, a typical brewery produced 3 or 4 mild ales, usually designated by a number of X marks. The weakest being X, and the strongest 4Xs, like the 4X beer, I suppose. They were considerably stronger than the miles of today, with the gravity ranging from around 1.055 to 1.072, so about 5.5% ABV to 7% ABV. Gravity's dropped throughout the late 19th century, and by 1914 the weakest miles were down to about 1.045, still considerably stronger than modern versions. Draconian measures applied to brewing industry during the First World War had a particularly dramatic effect upon mild. As the biggest selling beer, it suffered the largest cut in gravity when brewers had to limit the average OG of their beer to 1.030 in order to be able to produce some stronger beer, which was exempt from price controls and thus more profitable. Mild was reduced to 1.025 or lower. So modern dark mild varies from dark amber to near black in colour, and is very light bodied. Its flavour is dominated by malt. Yeah, I mean, you've got that nice dark malts in there, haven't you, as well? But for me, that the fruit cuts through that. I don't get any roasty toatiness of malts. I just get fruit flavour coming through. So the roast note delivered from the use of black malt with a subdued hop character. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely hoppiness isn't there. Though there are some quite bitter examples. Most are in range of 1.030 to 1.036, so 3 to 3.6%, as I said earlier on. Until the 60s, mild was the most popular beer style in England. Amazing, isn't it? How times and things change, and things go around and come back around again. Particularly in the West Midlands and North West of England, but it's been largely ousted by bitter and lager elsewhere. In 2002, only 1.3% mild beer sold in pubs was mild. Mild's popularity in Wales in particular persisted as a relatively low alcohol sweet drink for coal miners, where they love that. They want sweetness and a mild. Perfect. Some brewers have continued to produce mild, but I found it sells better under a different name. For instance, Brains Mild was renamed Dark. So that's it, and it's all about that modern branding, isn't it? As we said, you know, the modern day, the youngsters having labelling and packaging, you know, is what sells, isn't it? So if you can rebrand it and sell it as something else, make it trendy, it's all good. So as I say, you know, there's loads of history on there if you read. But I was surprised actually by the amount of history on mild. I mean, I've never really thought about it. You know, I've been an ale drinker for several years now, and I just drink ale, and I don't give much thought until you start doing these sort of things and look at things and look at history. It's fascinating, really. But as I say, when I think of that mild, I think of my granddad's dad, or my granddad and his dad, drinking this sort of stuff when they went out to a pub of a Sunday dinner time or whatever they used to do. So yeah. As I say, get it, try it, leatherbritishbrewery.co.uk. Check out their website, check out the other stuff on there. If you get in before the end of the month, you'll get a save 10. Put that in the coupon code. They do bottles as well. You can have a mixed bag. The Mad Brewer range is a good lot. If you know, do some weird and wonderful stuff. So check out the Mad Brewer range. But yeah, what do I rate it at? Okay, for me, it's Hampool. Normally Hampool for me is quite good, you know. I'm going to go with an 8.8 on that one for me. That's a winter warming beer. Normally I say my beers, most Hampools are 10, but I mean, I do like the hoppier beer. As that's how I am. I like, you know, golden ale, strong golden ale. So yeah, I mean, if you like your milds and you like a bit of a fruity taste to it, check it out. I think you might find that quite nice. So yeah, that's it from me this week. I shall not bore you anymore. Cheers, Dave. If I get any more down this way, so as long as I can get any other miles down here on Polypin or anywhere else, I'll have a look. But I say, you said about getting one. I thought I saw this one. I like Leather Bridges beers. I've never tried it. I thought it's a winter months we're going into. It's a spice berry mould. I thought let's check it out and see what it's about. So as I say, dark in flavour, very smooth. For dark, fruity in flavour, dark in colour, almost ruby colour when you look at it under the right sort of light. But yeah, nice white head. It's held the froth retention's good in the glass there. It's held that nice. I was going to have it in one of the old mugs just to make me, you know, like your old granddad used to have. I think a pint of mild in one of them. They were the old tanker. Should be in that tradition, shouldn't it? So maybe if I have another one after this, I may just pour it out in there just to you know, reminisce on these old times. And yeah, cheers. Whatever you're doing for the weekend, especially up north, keep safe, because I mean you're having the right time up there. Thankfully we missed it, and I'm sure there's more to come. Bloody storms, isn't it? I might have had a summer. I don't know. We're indoors, he creates enough storm. I don't need any more. I don't need to weather storm as well. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. As I say, check that out. Spice Berry Mild from Leverbridge's Brewery. Leverbridgesbrewery.co.uk. As I say, nice fruity flavour, dark in colour. It's very smooth. A bit of spice running through it, and a sweetness there as well. It's a good, nice winter beer. So a couple of pints of that. You won't want to go mad on it. Get a little 3 litre bag, 5 pints. That should be sufficient. You know, you can have a nice couple of pints on that. You know, maybe finish it off over a weekend or something. So definitely worth checking out. So stay tuned for the next one. So we're going to do the pumpkin one I've got on for next week for Halloween. So we'll have a look at that. That's Leverbridges as well. So stay tuned for that one. And if you want to get it, I say it's Halloween beer. We do some after Halloween, but if you want to get some, get in there and get it ordered now. I mean, order this week, save 10. That'll come by the weekend, and then obviously I'm going to review it. And if you've got some, we can, you know, put it in the comments. You know, if you've got some and tried it. So definitely worth checking out. And save 10. Don't forget that save 10 if you do order in your for your coupon to get your 10% off. And I'll see you for the next one. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay safe and see you next time.